Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make a cash drop system. So let's start on the UI. Make sure to actually have your UI, like your UI that opens up inside of one frame, so we can just turn the visible off and on easily. Now that our UI is done, we're going to click on the frame, we're going to go to its properties, and we're going to make sure that visible is off, and we're going to insert a script inside of cash drop button, a local script, as we always use local script in UI. So when the script.parent, which refers to the text button, so when the button is clicked, so we can use mouse button one click, which is an event, and we can connect this event directly into a function. So when this function happens, something inside will happen, and what we want to happen is to make the frame visible the opposite of itself. So right now it's off, and the opposite would be on, and the opposite of that would be off. So script.parent, which refers to our text button, if we leave one more time, so .parent, which leaves, and now this refers to the screen GUI. So if we do dot, which goes inside of our screen GUI, and we can just do frame, and the visible is going to equal to not it's visible, and we can just copy and paste this again on the other side, and this is going to do the opposite. So when I click this, it's going to turn on, and then when I click it again, it's going to turn off. Now let's turn back our UI on. So before we do anything else, what we're going to do is we're going to go into our toolbox, and we're actually going to search cash, and we're just going to grab this cash, and it seems like it already has a billboard on it. Let's turn this off. There we go, and it seems like everything's already there for us, but let's make sure to delete the click detector that's inside, and we can keep these two, and we can keep this as well, and we can just delete this as well. Make sure to put this inside of server storage. Now that that's in there, let's put our script inside of the text box. So let's insert a local script, and now we're going to create a function. So local function, and we're just going to name this money, and we're going to make this function be activated every time the confirm button is clicked or the text button has been confirmed. So if someone clicked enter on their keyboard, then we want this function to also happen. So let's do script.parent, which refers to our text box, .focus lost. So if they're done with it, then we're going to connect this into money, and in money we're going to have a variable called state, because if we connected this into being enter pressed, and are the options, which one of them here, enter pressed. So if I put our money, our function called money, and we have a variable called state, the first thing that was showing up before is going to happen. So if we do print state, our UI turns on, and now if we click on this and we enter, and if we click off, it says false, and if we type something here but if we click enter, it says true, and that's good. We're going to use our true, so we're going to make sure if it's true. So if true, if state is equal to true. When using a if statement, you're going to always use the double equals to, and if you're actually setting something, you would use 1, but since here we're doing a check, we're going to use 2. So if it's true, then we're going to fire a remote event. So let's make a remote event in replicated storage, remote event, and we're going to call this money. I'm going to call this money, and what remote events do is send information across the local script to a normal script, across the client to the server, or the server to the client. So what we're going to do here is just going to go inside of replicated storage, so game.replicated storage, Now that we're inside of replicated storage, get the money that is our remote event dot money, and we're just going to fire it, so fire server, and we want to pass some stuff over. What we're going to pass over is the actual text inside of our text box. So we're going to do script.parent, which refers to our text box, and we can just do .text. There we go. Now we're sending over our text. We don't want it to send it over when we just click enter on the text box, just in case some people want to click confirm instead. So what we can do here is do script.parent.parent.enter. So this is now, when you do script.parent, this refers to our text box. And if we do .parent again, then it leaves and it goes inside of here. And then you can choose what you want to select inside of here. In my case, I want to use the enter text button, so .enter. Now, mouse button one click. So when you click it, we're going to connect it, but we're not just going to directly connect it into here, because we need to send over true, because true only gets sent over when you click enter on the text box. No true or false gets sent over when you click on the button. So we're going to connect this to its own function, and then now we're going to call our other function and just do true. Now let's create a normal script inside of server script service, because we want to catch all of the things that we're firing, because we're firing a remote event that has loads of information, and we want to get that information and make it happen on everybody's screen. So game.replicatedStorage.money, which is our remote event, on server event, which means when it gets fired, we catch it. This just basically means catch it, the event to catch, and again we're going to directly connect this to a function. So everything inside of this function is going to happen. And if we click on this, it says the first thing that's going to be fired, no matter what, is going to always be our player. So we should always have player first. When firing a remote event from a local script to a normal script, no matter what you do, your own player gets fired over. So the information that always gets fired is your own player, then your extra information, which in my case was the text that I fired over. But we don't want it just to be text, we want to make sure if it's a number. So we can do if toNumber text, then, so this checks if it's actually a number, and now we need to make sure that our player, their cache, is high enough for us to be taking it out. But we don't have any leader stats script yet. But if you watched my previous videos, I have a leader stats video which you can learn from. You should go watch that. I'm just going to quickly make my own leader stats. I got my leader stats script there. I hope you guys have your own as well. You could be using the video I made before, or you could be using your own script, but make sure to have your own leader stats, and make sure that your value is called money. And now we're going to check if our player has enough money. So player.leaderstats, so leaderstats.money. If the value of the money is higher than or equal to our number, our text, which is our number, I'm going to create a variable here called money value, which is going to be toNumber text, and we can just replace this with money value, and we can just replace this with money value. And then here we're going to have another if statement as well. So if the player's money is higher than or equal to, because the crocodile always eats the bigger number. In our case, the bigger number is going to be our money, or if our number is equal to the same amount of money, then we are allowed to take it away and drop our cash. So let's take away our money first of all. So we can just copy and paste this part here. So copy, paste, and we can just do subtract, and then our money value. When you're doing subtract, you always have to have it equals to sign as well. Otherwise, you would have to write it like this, and nobody wants to ever do that. Look how long this is. The easier way of doing this is just doing money value and doing a negative sign here, which means subtract. Now that our money is being subtracted, let's actually drop the money. So before we do anything, we're going to clone our cash part inside of server storage. So local new clone is going to equal to game.server storage. So we're going in server storage and we're going to get our cache, so .cache, and we're going to just clone it. Now we have our own cache that we can refer to. We can use this to refer to the cloned cache that we just got, and we're going to make sure to change the text inside to the actual amount that we have. So new clone dot billboard dot amount dot text is going to equal to, and if we click on this and we go to our properties tab and we check the text, it actually has a $sign. So what we're going to do is going to equal to our money, and then we're going to do dot dot, and then we can do the money sign. So let's just copy the money sign from here and we can paste it there. So this joins our amount with the money sign using the two dot dots. We use the dot dots to join other things together to become one thing. So for example, our number and the money sign is going to be joined together. Now that our money sign is joined together, we're actually going to put it inside our workspace. So new clone dot parent, which means where it is in the game, is going to be equal to our workspace, but we're going to set its position to our humanoid root part. So new clone dot position is going to equal to our player dot character dot humanoid root part, because every character, either R15 or R6, has a humanoid root part, and we're just going to do dot position. Now let's actually make it so we can collect our money. So let's pull our cache back into the workspace, and let's insert a proximity prompt inside of it. So insert a proximity prompt, and let's insert a script inside of our proximity prompt. So let's refer to our proximity prompt. Since the script is inside of our proximity prompt, but we can refer to our thing inside using script.parent. So script.parent, there we go, refers to our proximity prompt because the script is inside of our proximity prompt, and we want it to do something when it's triggered. So we're going to use .triggered, and then we're going to connect this directly into a function. So everything in here now is going to happen, but if we click this, it says here the player who triggered. So whoever triggers the proximity prompt, we're going to be able to get their character. So we can just put player in here. Now that we have a player to refer to, we can do a variable that we can name amount, which is going to be equal to our text. So we're going to do script.parent, which refers to our proximity prompt. If we do .parent again, refers to our part, and then we can just go inside of the billboard, and then we can get our text. So amount.text. Now that we have our text, if you remember before, it had a $sign, and we do not want that there. So we're going to do if amount, which is a string, and if we find our $sign, paste that there. Then we're going to do our new variable that is going to be equal to money, so local money, and it's going to equal to nil, which means nothing. And if we find our $sign, then we can actually split this into a table. So we can do amount split, and we can use the $sign, and now that it's split into pieces, we can name this local table, because now this is a table that has two pieces, one the $sign and one our amount. The first one's going to be our amount, the second one is going to be our $sign. So we're going to make our money, so money is going to equal to our table, and we want to access the first one, and we want to access our first one, so we're going to do brackets 1. Now this accesses our first one. Now that we have our money, we can do player.leaderstats. That's where our money value is. So .money dot value, and we're just going to do plus, but we can't just do plus, so we have to do plus and equals to, and then we can do money. Then we're going to destroy our actual cache object. So script.parent, which refers to our proximity prompt, .parent, which refers to our part, and we can now destroy it. Let's click back into Studio, and we're going to actually copy this, paste it back in server storage, and we're going to keep this one still in the workspace so we can actually collect it. Actually, one last thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we don't actually drop any negative money. So we're going to do if money value, and let's, as this is a number right now, let's make this into a string. So to string money value, and if we find a negative, so the negative sign, then we're going to return end, which basically means we're not going to do the rest of the code down here. So let's play test and see if this game works. As you can see, I have 0 money, and if I try to drop 0 money, as you can see, I can drop 0 money. If I drop 1, I can't drop 1 as I do not have enough, and if I try to drop a negative money, I cannot. But hey, look, there's 100 on the floor. If we pick this up, I get 100, it gets removed. And if I drop 12, I can drop 12, I can go pick up 12, hey, I'm back to 100. And if I just do 101, it's not going to work. If I do 100, I can drop 100, and I can pick up money. And if I do any letters, it does not even work either. I hope you guys like this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, go watch my other videos, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.